Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's Sensei Pink and I'm coming back to you guys for my review on Lord Olympus episode 127. So last week we ended it off with Percy and her mother being deemed like wanted criminals, and in this week we kick off this episode with all three kings gearing up for a meeting together. As Hades heads inside Zeus's headquarters, he meets up with Poseidon, who has his little son in tow, and the two begin to talk about, the fact that the press release happened and neither of them knew about it. Hades calms his little nephew down after he starts crying for a bit, and after a little bit more chit chat, the two head in to finally go meet with Zeus. Now, kicking off this meeting, Hades tells Zeus like he could have gave both him and Poseidon, a heads up on the whole announcement thing that went down, but Zeus, sort of being snobby, tells him like, I'm the king of gods and I don't need anyone's permission, and this causes Poseidon and Hades to just sort of glance at each other like, did he just say that? As the tensions rise in the room, Zeus gets them both to sit down and he presents him with all the facts and his findings. Hades then questions the source of Zeus's information, since Helios obviously hates him, and he says like, if this did happen, he would have been alerted from like the new souls obviously coming into the underworld. Now, using that as his point, Zeus tells them that members of their courts are actively working to undermine their authority. Basically, they don't respect them, and that basically in this situation they need to make an example of Persephone. Hades then snaps, but Zeus reminds him that if it was anyone else, he'd be on board. But Hades, who has just like had enough of this, tells Zeus like he's put up with his BS because he saved him, and tells Zeus to ask himself like if this is the line that he wants to cross. Now, as Hades leaves the meeting furious, Thetis catches a glimpse of this and is delighted. Now, later on in the day, I guess after all this, Thetis then goes to Mint's apartment, busts open the door and splashes champagne on both Mint and Thanatos in like a celebratory manner and congratulates her about the whole thing. She continues on by telling them how furious Hades was when he left the meeting, and that they plan on putting Percy on trial and basically making an example of her just like they did with Prometheus. Now, as Mint and Thetis, revel in their celebration, Thanatos just sort of sits back and is a little in shock because he's thinking about, Prometheus and his punishment, and he's just thinking, he didn't expect it to go this far. Now, cutting back over to Hades, who has now materialized in his office and is mulling over, how much of a mess everything is. He gets distracted when he notices the tree that Percy created in Tower 4, like glowing, and we end this episode with him realizing that it's out of control. Now, let me run down my thoughts for this episode really quick. Number one, I'm happy we got to see Daddy Poseidon in action. It was really cute. Number two, Zeus better chill the fuck out before Hades beats his ass. Number three, all I saw was a clown party going on between Thetis, Mint, and Thanatos because they just set themselves up for failure and they don't even know it. But, they got on their clown outfit just like they always do. Now, let me get into my predictions for episode 128. For my first prediction, I think that we are finally going to get to see our girl Percy. It's been so long since we've seen her, and I think like Hades is going to find her maybe like encased in the tree in Tower 4. And yeah, I think that he's just gonna find her maybe like in the tree. For my second prediction, I think that since Thanatos realizes like he fucked up, he really did do all this for nothing, like it's going too far, it's going farther than he expected. Maybe he's going to tell Hades, that Mint and Thetis are behind it, and maybe try and go behind Mint and Thetis's like back and try and help. And maybe he just might get some help from his mother or something. We don't know. And now for my last prediction, I think that out of spite, since Hades threatened Zeus, Zeus is definitely going to give Apollo the rights to marry Persephone. I think that the fact that Hades stood up to him and like basically isn't down to take his bullshit, it's only going to add to Zeus's like no respect campaign, and he's going to basically punish Hades by not letting him have the girl he wants. And one final thought, I just wonder where Poseidon is going to end up in all of this. Like, I wonder whose side he might end up taking and whatnot. So in the comments, let me know, do you guys think he'll end up taking Zeus's side? Do you think he'll end up taking, Hades' side? Or do you guys think that he'll just remain neutral? Go follow me on both Instagram and Twitter and smash that like button if you enjoyed watching. And finally guys, hit that subscribe and notification button to see more of me, Sensei Pink.